Just before moving to the last intervention, I would like to give you an update on our live stream activities. I think we have made our voice pretty well heard today. We got 14,000 reach on live stream, plus about 100 sharing. So our video has been shared by others in key platforms. So I think this is really important, especially in our research, to be really global and to allow equitable access to information and to debate also among people that were not able to be physically here today. And we expect this number to increase in the next days, and additionally the recording of today will be available on our media, so we hope also to provide a platform for education that will remain to be accessible from every country.
I have the unfriendly task to resume all that. It's impossible. But I decided to have one general comment and then very personal things that struck me especially. So, vaccination as our take-home message is, we know, and we have to repeat it, it's one of the most effective health interventions, and it helps in a positive message to save 3 million lives each year. It's interesting to know that there was the Global Vaccine Action Plan, decided and approved by the World Health Assembly in 2012, and the framework was to bring equitable access, that would be discussed, to existing vaccines, not the new ones, for people in all communities by, and yes, you read correctly, 2020, that is tomorrow. I think we didn't reach the goal, like usually with these ambitious goals like 2020, 2030, we are usually lagging behind, but I think it has to be remembered that's where we are going. We also know that it's probably among the most difficult topics to discuss with, as it was said, other parents, with other friends, the typical tea time discussion when you are with family, they say, you are in health, please say, is it really true? It's difficult, and it is, I think what's nice that it was said, human beings should be hesitant. We should not take up every knowledge, but then we need this discussion. And we also learned that there is a very broad indication for vaccinations. Those in emergency situations like now Ebola, or those that follow a long program like HPV vaccination against cervical cancer or others. And we also mentioned clearly that vaccination is a topic throughout the life course, from the newborn to especially the elderly population that again start to have a little bit of a weak immune system. We haven't mentioned one thing today, and now I come with some personal remark. There are ways how you can really, really destroy trust in what we are doing. Perhaps some of you still remember the name Bin Laden, yeah? Yeah. Well, his family lives in Geneva, but he himself, as you know, was kept by the CIA, and you know how they did it? They did it by using a pseudo-fake vaccination program. They were hoping to recover DNA through this pseudo-fake vaccination program from his family. They didn't get a DNA, but they got a phone number that led them to one of the messengers of Bin Laden, and that's how he was caught. I can tell you that's the best way to destroy trust into a vaccination program. And we had this word, trust. We heard that trust is critical for all preventive medicine, because we are dealing with something that is not there and not visible. Vaccines are typically that, and it takes a very long time to build up trust, and a little second or a little thing like the CIA using a vaccination program to destroy the trust of a lot of population in the area and around. We had at the beginning Rüdiger Krecht from WHO talking about what the Ebola lessons first and second, also again, the second time, 2019 were. And I think what I took back mainly from his talk is that health systems, public health systems too, have to be part of society and the people. That makes then how we plan interventions. We learn that it has to be with the people. And health systems need to be part to insiders and known as public goods. Someone has also talked about the fact that health workers should be from all the minorities. Health workers should be included. And we also learned through this example of Ebola and others, very unfortunate examples, that places with violence and civil unrest bred infectious diseases and then make necessary vaccination. One place that hasn't been mentioned until so far is Venezuela. There is a very serious situation. These pictures are directly from our colleagues from the ASPA, the Alliance of the Americas, and they usually have a WhatsApp. That's why it's coming through like a little bit self-made. But yes, Venezuela and Brazil got a real big increase in measles. And now the 2 million Venezuelans that migrate to Colombia bring with them additional cases. So don't forget, we have so many places in the world where we breed infections and epidemics. That leads us to the point that yes, political situations and health situations superpose and may magnify the problems, both the political and the health urgency. And in addition to that, we have been discussing a lot of vaccination today, and it is one of the broadest used public health measures, and it shows us the several divides that exist and that we sometimes enlarge. The conflicts we talked about, the rural-urban divide, the big urban megacities with their pockets of underserved, the remote areas. But I also learned from another divide today. I don't know if you saw it. There are the Gavi and the non-Gavi countries. The Gavi countries do far better than the non-Gavi countries. So we are always creating new divides. And I think we have to take care of not creating more divides. We had the honor to have the DG Matsozo from South Africa with us, and she reminded us also of the fact that, for example, like in all other countries, a lot of other countries, there is a parallel of a public and a private sector. And people in these places, in Switzerland too, I must say, think you're better off if you go to the private sector. But the private sector mostly does not immunize. And this also led us to say that, yes, vaccination is a basis for universal health coverage, or the other way around. Universal health coverage can only be achieved with having a good vaccination program. But, and that's what she also reminded, vaccination alone can never ever do it. There has to be good sanitation, access to clean water, and the basics that we always say that public health is constituted of. We also said we all have the task not to fall and not to allow complacency. May it be with our politicians, as parents, as health workers, as suppliers. And then came the shift to the other panel where we said, yes, we have to make sure that there is a good supply, good access, good transversion, and manufacturers have to be stimulated and not make the market case, I get more of oncology drugs than I get out of a vaccination program. We need innovation on all levels of vaccination. We have seen that this task is taken over by a lot of NGOs and PPPs, and we heard from the bigger ones like Gavi, UNICEF, and now UNICEF, they are working on it. And they're also recognizing the divides that I mentioned. Industry, as we heard, has special issues. Innovation can be coming from all. What I listened to was really important. I think also Michael talked about it. And it is a question, shouldn't we have an innovation of financing differently? You mentioned it. Especially a program like vaccination that really is for all, it's for the public's health. Shouldn't it be in a different way of financing? I think that's where the next time we have to have people from economy and those who know more than we how to manage that. Shouldn't it be part of task of government? And one thing, the word trust was always there. We had our indigenous friends here. Never forget that a lot of people in the world have lost trust in all of us who are the colonizing world, as I would say. And we should also in public health, and especially global public health, be careful not to do colonized global health. Sometimes we have tendencies. We also learned one important thing: listen. Listen first, listen to the other. And the word that came up on all the different panels, the word of the day was probably, well, you have heard it, you know it. I think my conclusions say vaccinations show us, the whole discussion, that we do need another way of constructing health systems. We do need another relationship between users and health systems. There should be less paternalistic and less convincing, but equal participation. We should communicate differently. We have been talking about communication, using other words, emotions. And vaccinations, like health in general, is a symptom of our society. Society creates their diseases. With our conflicts, with our megacities, with our way of traveling, we are creating our diseases. And we also have been talking about the loss of confidence in institutions in general as an overarching phenomenon about over-vaccination hesitancy. Professor Hurst invited us to look at other social illnesses and look at YouTube, the Flat Earth community. It is a phenomenon, and that's us. We have to ask ourselves what we are doing. I think the word I heard the most was trust. I hope that you all trust that we try to make a workshop that is as open-minded and as close to what a good discussion can be. And this being said, I would like to remind you that we have prepared a call for action that is available at our website, and I would like to ask all of you to have a look at it, and ask especially those of you who are representing organization, corporation, institution, to see if you or your institution can subscribe to this call to action. If yes, please let us know. We already have a large number of institutions supporting this call to action. It goes according to the Global Charter for the Public's Health, according to the P's of Protection, Prevention and Health Promotion, and it uses, as usually, our enabler functions: governance, information, capacity, advocacy. I hope a lot of you, and perhaps you may talk around you, are able to support our call to action, but we have been already supported by these organizations, and I hope to see minimum double of these in the next week. Thank you for promoting it, and it's now my time to say thank you to the sponsors of this workshop, MSD, BD, and, as I said this morning, my university, the University of Geneva, for providing us the space, the venue, and a lot of facilities. It is also time to remind you that even if you have been through a long workshop today, there is another one, much shorter and much more fun, done and run by our indigenous. You have seen they are really people where you will have an interesting workshop. Indigenous Working Group will hold its workshop tomorrow, again here in the campus, from 1 to 3 p.m. You are all invited to come. It will be talking about the questions of indigenous health. And last but not least, the World Health Assembly week is not over on Sunday. There's still Monday, and one of our associated members has a side event at the Palais des Nations that is nuclear weapons today, and it is the organization against nuclear weapons. If you can make it, you're also kindly invited to go to the side event of IPPW at the Palais des Nations on Monday, the coming Monday, 7 to 8 at the Palais. This being said, I say a great thank you to all of you for being there, for being the good discussions and the great audience you were, and I hope you take back with you a lot of new ideas. And again, as Marta said, if something slipped out of your mind, or if someone couldn't attend the first part, the second, the last, it's all on live stream and you can have a look at it again. Thank you so much.